Hello and welcome to hobby vlog number 247. Now it's been a hell of a week, I'm not going to go into it, but it really has been a hell of a week. But I'm here and I've got a bit to show you, not entirely sure how much. I've done quite a bit of painting and stuff, but and a little bit of hobbying when I've had the time. But yeah, at least I've got a vlog and we'll be continuing to make these as long as I can. So first of all, let's get on to the Reaper Challenge. Last week, the 3 Toolbots won. Now I've really struggled to get these done and actually only finished them late last night, which is the latest I think I've ever done anyone. And I didn't do them with the level of detail and complexity that I was planning, but I did get them finished. So there's a picture on screen now. I really hope you like that. And thank you to everyone that voted last week as well, because this week I'm going to be painting up 3 female wizards. That's who won. They won with 4 votes. Now, my mate Blueberry Cheesecake came up with an idea of some theme for painting these, so I'm going to be taking a look at what he sent me and following that. So thank you very much for being involved. He's actually also won one of the draws before, so yeah, get involved, do your vote in there, and I'll pop on screen now the miniatures for this week for you to vote for. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, I have a big backlog of miniatures of every kind, but a lot of them are Reaper miniatures, and what I've decided to do through this year is to ask you to pick one box, one blister a week for me to paint for the next week, and every vote that is placed for a miniature will be an entry into a prize draw, which I'm doing every month at the moment. And if you're drawn, you get to choose one of the miniatures that I painted in the previous month, which you voted for, and I'll send that to you free off the Reaper website. So yeah, maximum of 1 entry a week per person as well, obviously. So thank you ever so much to everyone that's voted already. Thank you to everyone that's going to vote this week. It doesn't take any time, it's free, and it really helps to motivate me. I can tell you if that hadn't happened, then I would not have painted anything other than what I've desperately got done for the con. Talking of which, I went past 250 miniatures painted for the year as well this week, so pretty pleased with that. Anyway, lots of rambling, lots of chattering. I really hope you enjoy this video, and I will see you again at the end. Let's have a look at these Toolbots then, see what they look like in their box. I'm pretty excited by these. They've been in the vote a few times. Got quite big bases for such tiny models. I might look at using different bases. So now what have we got? We've got 3 little robots, tiny robots, and we've got like a chainsaw, a claw hammer and a gun, and then we've got a backpack as well. So there we are, that's really, really cool. And it looks like each of them can have a backpack. So, but there's only one backpack. So that's a bit strange. And it was definitely not missing a sprue. I might have a look on the website and see whether this is actually a defective kit. I'll still paint it up and whatever, it doesn't matter. I can file that, the little nub off on the ones that won't have the backpack. But yeah, so what's going to happen is I'm going to get these washed in hot soapy water, as I always do. Then I'll clean them up, get them glued together, attached to a base, as I say. Whether I use these bases or different bases, I'm not sure. And then get them primed, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like when that's all done. So these Toolbots have taken a little bit of cleaning up and tidying. A little bit of a pain actually, so quite a lot of flash on them I had to clean up. And then I did put them into these bases, and because they're so small, I've had to get the milli put out to fill the bases and make them not look, well, not so that everything when I did the basing falls through, and just make it look a little bit more suitable. So I've got to wait now for that milli put to go off, and then I can stick the extra stuff, the weapons and the backpack on, and then I can prime, and I'll come back when I've done that. I'll bring it back again and show you what it looks like. But yeah, a little bit more of a pain than any of the other miniatures I've worked on actually. They're some of the least good quality, which is a bit of a shock. Well, I said this was going to be parked, but actually I realised that I still had the sword on my painting bench, so I finished the sword last night. And what I'm now going to do is glue that sword in place. Now this glue is a little bit iffy. Oh, it worked, good. So I'll get that sword glued in place. And now I can actually park this project, because yeah, I've got to wait for the weather to cool before I can work on the air dry clay, like I said. But at least now she's got a sword on her back. I did consider doing the staff, but actually I think I prefer the sword. Right, onwards. Well, this is the first unit of Beast Snagger Boys that I've built. I'm going to do these as Snakebites, and yeah, hopefully that's going to be it's going to make sense. So that's going to be a lot more natural colours, I believe, like leathers and purples and what have you. So it'd be quite fun to paint that slightly different to how I painted the Bad Moons. These are done exactly how they are in the instructions. So now what I'll do is prime these up and get them painted. I will paint these on an average painter, and then the next two squads of these Beast Snagger Boys will be done with conversions. So I need to get cracking because I've got to get this done. So I'll get these downstairs, I'll get these primed and then get them downstairs and on the painting bench, and hopefully I'll get them painted up, and hopefully I'll get all this done before I fly to America, because that is the whole point. I just replaced my toner cartridges in my printer, and I've managed to get these to print out right. So I found another picture that I wanted to include on this, which is me and Rosie snorkeling together. That's the first time she ever joined me for a morning swim, and that's a really kind of like valuable thing for me to remember. So that's why I've got that in there, and then the family picture as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut these out, and once they're cut out, then I'll bring the frame over, paste them in, and work out exactly where everything's going to go and get it all stuck down, and I'll bring you along for that. So let's get these cut out quickly off camera, and then let's start actually putting this together, because I want this to be done for when Andrew and Rosie get back from their trip to Ireland, yeah, that time will be approaching shortly, so I better get on with it. Well, here we are. I've laid everything out and I'm really happy with how that looks. So these two stones are not going to go on it, they're just holding it down because my fan's going and it's kind of blowing the, well, these three stones, it's blowing the blowing them around a little bit. But yeah, so we've got the Froggy Land, which was epic. We've got first morning swim ever together, and we've got going on the semi-submersible, and then all the things which we collected through the week, which we wanted to remember. So a balloon that Rosie found in Split, that she had a lot of fun with. Feather, she loves feathers. I dived for this, picked this up off the ocean floor. An interesting looking stick. This is a pine cone, which is traditional, and that's one that's been in the sea, slightly different. And then just some interesting like glass and shells and stones that we picked up. So first thing to do is going to be get my Pritt stick and stick down the pictures into place. Memory of Froggy Land. So we got quite a few, we got several of these postcards given to us when we went to Froggy Land. So I don't mind sticking one of them on here, and I actually think it's quite a nice idea. It's a good memory. It was a lot of fun. It was one of Rosie's highlights of the whole holiday. Almost makes me wish that I printed out a picture of her with a banana split, because that was her other favourite memory of the whole holiday. It was a toss-up between Froggy Land and this ginormous, and I mean ginormous, banana split that she had. Anyway, so there we are. So that is going to go on and get stuck in place. And anywhere that it's lifting, I'll come along with some super glue and kind of dot down any lifting bits. So I'm going to get that done, get these glued in place. When they're all done and settled, then I'll bring you back when we're about to start gluing the other stuff in place and just show you how I'm going to do that. Alright, so that's glued down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the larger things, on the stones, and for that I use Moment Fix Extreme Power, whatever. I call it my grabby glue because that's what it is. So you're just going to put a big splurge of that and then press that in place, and when that goes off, that will not fall off, which is what we want. So we'll go around all the stones, even the smaller ones, and I'll glue all the stones down with this, and then the shells, well, I'll decide. Some of them I might do with this, some of them I might do with PVA. So yeah, it's a really simple thing to do, but yeah, oh, threw that, didn't mean to throw that, but I think it's a really nice way to remember our holidays, and I love doing it. Right, so that's those done. You know what I am just going to, on these ones, I'm going to use the grabby glue as well. It's going to work better. So which way around? How do I want that? Yeah, I want it like that. So I'll put some gravity glue down here. I've slipped a bit so I can just clean it up a little bit, like that. So that's been glued. And then these little ones I'll use super glue, and I'll probably do that off camera because it's going to get a little bit fiddly for those. So I'll probably do those off camera and then bring you back when it's finished. And I'm going to do the glass ones super glue as well, and the balloon. Right, so that's everything I can do with this, I think. So I'll do the rest with super glue, let it all dry, and I'll bring it back and show what it looks like when it's finished. Our Toolbots are assembled and primed, and they went together really easily. They just need a lot of clean up, like I said, but once they're cleaned up, they're pretty easy to put together. So they'll go down now to the painting bench and get painted up. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to paint them, but yeah, I'm not going to get to that now. I'll have to get to that later. But I'm hoping they'll be quite quick and simple, and then I can get the basing done. So yeah, thanks ever so much for voting, and if you haven't yet voted this week, what are you waiting for? Get it done. It doesn't cost anything, and it helps me to keep motivated to paint for all these miniatures. Well, the last squad of the Boyz is done, and this is the one where I did the most major conversions. I think probably my favourite conversion is that dude at the back where he's shooting over his head. But then I also did one with the rocket firing off from the rocket launcher, and all of these have been converted to one extent or another to make them look different from the others. So just got one miniature to paint, which is the leader, the Beastboss, and then I can get on with basing these and finishing them off completely. So yeah, taken what, a couple of weeks to do all these. There's a chance I can get the other squad done as well, the other list done, but at the very least, I've done one. I've left this overnight, so I didn't want to rush it, and yeah, it is all stuck. Nothing moving, nothing sliding. So what I'm going to do now is work out where I'm going to hang it and go and get that hung, and then I'll show you what it looks like. But I'm really pleased to have got this done before the girls get back from their other trip. I really wanted this to be up. Such happy memories. It was such a lovely holiday, and the things that are on this will serve to remind us of the lovely things that we did all holiday. So yeah, this is what it's all about. It's about putting things on the wall and having memories, and those memories can last. So I've had people say and comment on this about how much they love this idea, and some people have said that they're going to do it themselves. So if you do that, then I would be fascinated to hear, because I haven't heard of anyone else really doing anything like this. I don't know what gave me the idea. So yes, if any of you do this, please let me know. That would be awesome. Right, I'm going to go and hang this now. Well, it's done. Beastboss painted, and that was a lot of fun and didn't take as long as I thought it would, and I'm pretty pleased with the result, to be honest. Pretty happy indeed. So what that means is that all of these are now painted, which means that I can now get on with basing, because I decided that I wanted to base them all at the same time. But now I come to basing, I realise that really I should have ordered the basing in weeks ago, because what I really want is to have like red Marsy type basing material, and I don't have any. So I'm going to think about it for a bit, and as soon as I've decided on the basing, I will show you how it's going to go, and then we'll base the entire list all at the same time. But they're all painted, so it's just basing and then painting the rims, and then they're done. So yeah, now to get cracking with the other list. I managed to finish painting up the freak out show. I've realised just now that I've not brought the sign up, and that actually needs to have a little bit more done to it. But yeah, pretty much these are painted fine. So yeah, what I'm going to do now, once I've got the sign, is I'm going to stick these in place and then dress the rest of it, and then this will be done. But I'm pretty happy with how they've turned out, and I think that it's going to look really, really nice, and it certainly fits the theme for TCU, so pretty happy about that. But yeah, I'll be dressing the whole thing once I've got these glued in place. And of course the painting will be on an average painter if you want to see it. So once this is finished and I've got a picture of the whole thing, then I'll edit the painting video and put that up there on the other channel. Well, I've made my mind up on how I'm going to do the basing, and I'm going to make use of my sifted backyard sand dust, which gives me a nice fine texture, and then maybe I can look at painting it to get a bit of a different colour. So this glue is almost entirely done now. It's nearly run out and the bottle is in a terrible state. As you can see, it's just covered in glue and blocked and all sorts of nastiness. Should have done this before I went on camera, but it really does make a right mess. So anyway, so we're going to get that in there. I'm going to clean my fingers. Ugh. So tacky, this glue, but that's what makes it so good, because it just grabs everything. But unfortunately it also grabs you, as all glue does. So I've got a toothpick, because I moved this around with a toothpick, because you've just seen how grabby this is. If you want to destroy a paintbrush, be my guest, they're your paintbrushes, but I would recommend not. I would highly recommend a toothpick is a good tool for this. So once we've got some glue on, scatter your sand on, shake it off, and then move on. So there we are. So I'll keep doing that for all of the miniatures, which is going to take some time, and then once I've got them all based to this level, then we'll have a look at colours and work out how we're going to do that. But I'm just going to sit and put dust on the base using the Luke's fast drying basing glue, which is just brilliant for this sort of thing. Well, that didn't take as long as I thought it would. They are all now done, and I'll let that dry and then work out what colour I'm going to do, what I'm going to paint it, what details I'm going to put on it. I had forgotten I had actually bought Citadel skulls and I was going to put those on the bases, and I completely forgot about that, but never mind. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to take it off now and redo it. Pretty happy with how that went. This dust really works well, actually, with the really works well with this glue. So I did get very, very sticky fingers though, because it was a very messy process with a damaged bottle. Anyway, happy about that. Happy to be making some good progress and getting close to completing this whole first half of this project. Alright, so this is now ready to start gluing together. So I'm going to do this in stages. I've just got the clown stood there at the moment. I've not glued him down. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick down the circus sign and the support. So what I'm going to do here is lean that up and just come in with some super glue at top and bottom, just like that. And then the sign itself is going to lean in like so. So once again, come in with some little double super glue, and I will be coming in with some more of the dust to bed it in, like I've said. So any overflow of super glue isn't the worst thing in the world, because I will be covering it over with some more dust. But I'm going to leave it at that for now. Let that set, and then I've got the girl who is going to be over here, and the clown will be stuck in place. The thing that I've noticed, however, is if we look at the picture has the little booth being much, much bigger than it is on the diorama, and I don't know what the problem is there. I don't know whether they've just not sent all the parts, but it doesn't matter, it's done now. Just going to put up with it. Well, I'll bring you back when I come to doing the next bits. I actually remembered in the night while I was sleeping that I'm not actually finished. I forgot to paint the little head on the back of his body, the little head of his previous baby victim. So yeah, I'm going to need to take that back down and finish that off before I can glue it on. However, if I pull that in, you can see that the first bits and pieces are glued in nicely, and once I've got that painted, which won't take me very long, then I'll be able to get this finished. So I'm going to get that done, and then I'll come back up and we'll finish dressing up the actual display. Bit annoyed, can't believe I nearly forgot that, but I'm very glad that I remembered before it was all glued in, and then I was having to kind of try to paint it while I've got this big base. That would have been a bit awkward. Alright, it's got the baby's head painted up. Now we're looking at gluing on and positioning these two figures, and then we can do the final dress. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have her here and I'm going to have him there. Maybe a little bit further around, but he's going to be roughly there. So I'm going to put him on first. See how well this super glue tube is still working. It caused me lots of trouble yesterday. Right, so there we are. Still confused by the size mismatch of this unit. I'm sure they've just like given it wrong to me. Right, now we're going to try and glue her on, which is going to be a little bit more difficult because it's a much smaller contact point. I want her to be there. It's not going to work. But I'm going to turn the camera off because I'm going to need to stand and hold this for a little while. But that's where she's going to get glued anyway. I'll bring you back when we come to the next step. There we are. I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So I'm going to let that set, and then I'll come back a bit later on and we'll start doing the final dressing of the base, and hopefully it'll turn out really well. And we've got another storm coming in. Yay! We lost power for 2 days this week with thunderstorms. Hopefully it doesn't go off again today. Right, so I've been thinking about this, and what I've got this nice red, which is just a house paint. And I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to test it out on this base. Obviously looking for like an alien planet style effect. It's going to be quite a simple basing technique, just the dust and painting it. And I might put a skull on. We'll see how time goes. I've got lots and lots to do to get this done before I go to America, so painting up 90 skulls is not really on my list of things to do between now and then, but we shall see. So anyway, I'm just going to quickly paint this one up, and then I'll step back, have a look at it and see how I feel, see how happy I am with the effect I've achieved. And if I'm happy, then I'll do it on the rest, and if I'm not, then I'll pick a different colour, try again until I am. So there we are. I'll let that dry and I'll stare at it for a little bit, and I'll come back and I'll either do them all or I'll come back and show you a different colour. Well, I went with that red. It looked a little bit bright when I first put it on, but I slept on it, and then today I've painted all of the tops of the rest of them, and I'm really pleased I did. I think it's really cool. I think it really makes them pop, and I'm happy with the results. So what I'm going to do now is paint the rims, and then this project will be finished. I'll have all of these miniatures to add on to my completed painted list, which is going to be awesome. And now I need to really crack on with the other ones to get them done before I go to America. But yeah, pretty happy. So I'll come back when I've painted the rims and show you what they look like. Well, I managed to get this hung. I think it looks really nice underneath our Sozopol one. I'm really pleased with it. So this is just in the kitchen by the spiral staircase. Got a Xena up the top, wondering what I'm doing. So yeah, happy with how that looks, and can't wait for Rosie to see it. Well, there we are. They're all done and dusted and finished. So that's the first list. Like I said, I'm really struggling to get moving on the second one for various very good reasons. But at least I've got this one done. So even if I don't finish the other one, it doesn't really matter. I can take this with me. So yeah, this now looks like these videos might be out on Monday if I get time to actually edit them. But at least these are painted and can now be put into their transport box with the plan of bringing them to America. It's Saturday morning and I've still not based these, and I certainly haven't painted them to my vision. But I have painted them, and that's what matters. So I didn't think I was going to finish it this week, but I did. So what I'm going to do is quickly make use of Luke's base ready. I'm going to go Mediterranean just because it's sandy. Well, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to do what I thought actually before. Change my mind. That was me actively changing my mind. I am going to make a bit of noise. Oh, this is heavy. This is my sifted backyard sand, so I'm going to make use of that, which works really well. and put that on, so it will just be like a sandy, dusty base rather than having any green in it, because I don't want green in this. I want this to look like they were in the desert or on an alien planet or whatever. So yeah, I'll get that done and then I'll come back and show what it looks like when it's done. I've done the basing technique many times, so don't need to show you over and over again. Alright, so finally time for me to do this. I've been thinking about it all week and I've had time. So if you can look, this is a heat shrink thing which I'm going to put on it. So what I'm going to do is, actually that's going to be able to do 2. So I'm going to trim that and then try not to burn myself. But I've got my heat gun, which is just a cheap one I bought from Lidl, and that is shrunk on, but it has also blown the other part away over there. So now I'll do that. That's hot. So what I'm actually going to do, because this one I don't want it to stick, don't want them to stick to each other, obviously. So let me see. Quite smoking, my heat gun. Let me see if I can hold them open with these tweezers. Yeah, I can. And let's put it on low, not high. Just shrink that in. Yeah, I didn't put it on high. I didn't mean to put it on high, I slipped. Put it on low is better. There we are. And now I'll hold that for a minute. And that now should no longer damage the wire when I put it in there when I'm going to be doing my soldering. Now what I might have to do is double it up, but if I do I'll bring you back. But that's that heat shrunk on, and now I'm going to be able to start working on my actual droppers. Well, against all the odds, and it is Sunday morning as I record this, I've managed to get these done and finished. So there we are. I really have not done them as well as I wanted. I was wanting to use weathering powders and all sorts of stuff, but I've just ended up doing a very basic paint job. But I think they look okay. I'm quite pleased with the base. It's a very, very simple base, which is good, but it also looks nice. That's the sand I get from just around the corner here. I dug that up with Rosie on a walk, and I've been using it ever since. It looks really, really good. So yeah, happy about that, and that's 3 more for my total, and my total now is 254 for the year, which is pretty good going. Well, it's always the way, isn't it? I had done a little bit more than I realised. That's always nice to do as well. This is one of the real benefits of these vlogs for me, is that I get to review what I've done in the week, and it makes a big difference to my motivation and to keep going. So thank you ever so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll put on screen again now the list of miniatures that you can vote for Reaper, and there will be a list in the description, I forgot to say this at the beginning, with links to the Reaper website should you want to check out what each miniature looks like before you place your vote. So thank you ever so much for taking part in that, and thank you for watching. I do this anyway, but I really appreciate everyone that watches and comments. It means a lot to me. So I'll wrap up by saying, as I always do at the end of all my vlogs, and I should say this is for personal reasons, I am in the situation of knowing people who are impacted directly by both the wars in Ukraine and in Israel, and if any of you out there are in that situation, my thoughts do go out to you and anyone you know who might be, because yeah, it's horrible. I can't believe it's still going on, and hopefully peace will come soon. And a good peace as well, not a bad peace. So peace that can long last. So everyone, as I always say as well in all of my videos, to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.